Boom, my brother. Welcome to the Don's Brain again.
Yeah, I got this little bitty cheap setup that me and my son open baseball cards with on our little YouTube Goofy page,
Uh-huh.
and I accidentally clamped down on my phone
Mm-hmm.
on the power button, and just shut it all down.
You doing the Zoom on the phone?
Yeah,
Oh, word. Yeah, dude. I got a whole podcast set up. I just don't have it set up. So like right now, I'm literally like my computer's on a TV tray. I'm on the couch,
yeah,
and I got this ring light, this broken ring light that's freaking taped together.
yeah. We can't all have Joe Rogan money, bro. He had that
Right,
set
I
up for
got a real
Spotify.
ghetto setup right now.
I
Oh,
use this
Lord.
table what I got it set up on for two reasons. Like I said, opening baseball cards with my son and doing gun work.
Do you still collect baseball cards?
Oh God, yes, man. That stuff, dude. I'm telling you now. You need to get in on Gary V because he talks
I
about
know,
baseball
I know
cards
all
all the
about
time,
Gary,
dude.
dog. That's why I was
And I'm
asking.
telling you, dude, I'm telling you now, baseball cards right now are at probably the most valuable spot they have been in 50 years. Trout and everything going on right now. It's an insane market going on, but there's so much money flying around in it right now.
How
It
does that
had
even work?
it blows and it flies in the face of logic because last year everybody had to sit at the house and not make money.
Right?
But people are paying 3 to 4 times what store market and what even internet based buying prices right now. And what blows me away is like my buddy the other day, he was opening boxes of baseball cards,
Mm-hmm.
and they just determine who is going to be the big thing. And there's like this person hasn't even played 15 games in the majors, but right now his cards are so hot, people sell them for 20 and $30 a piece.
Who is it?
For someone, well, right now it's Christian Pache from the Braves.
Uh-huh.
And there's like last year it was a kid named Jason Dominguez, and it was insane what the market was doing. People, what I worry the most is where are people getting this money from? They're sitting at the house and they're paying, and I mean there's something called a hobby box
Right.
where you get one guaranteed autograph in the box.
Mm-hmm.
If his autograph dropped and you pulled it, the base is starting at a $500 or $600 selling price on someone who hasn't played one game in Major League Baseball. And I don't get it. I was asking a friend of mine yesterday, how do they determine this? He said it's just hype. Hype right now is just driving baseball cards, and it's insane.
I get that in the aspect of shoes. When I used to collect Jordans, that's exactly how that shit worked.
It's the same
With
thing, man.
with the cards, that hobby box, is that something you just order online? Is that something you buy at the
You
store?
can there's multiple ways to order them. Most times they're ordered online through distributors.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like there's a baseball card shop at Rosebud in Loganville called J&J, and I've ordered from there and picked up before. Last year when I picked up Dooley, well, the year before that because of COVID last year, I picked up my son for just checked him out in the middle of the day. Just something that nobody did for me when I was young. It was the first day. Yeah, it was the first day of baseball. So I went and checked him out. I wrote Hooky and the reason for leaving. me and Dooley went and got lunch, and then we went over and I spent 300 something bucks opening baseball cards for a couple hours before we came home and watched the break.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Like I seriously can't wait to have a son to do shit like that.
You have no clue the things that I grew up not getting to do. And it gets me emotional. I remember taking Dooley's first game over at Sanford Stadium, and I looked at him and says, "I need you to understand something." It was like he was 5, he was 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand something. Growing up, I didn't get to do this. Mama always said this was beyond us, and I wish she didn't say stuff like that because I've been to more free games than games I've paid for.
Right.
But I looked at him, and like I said, you become a dad, you get emotional about things. I look, dude, this is more for me than it is for you. You just don't get it yet. You get a little older, you'll see.
Right.
But right now, this is for me. This ain't even really for you.
That's like, because, I mean, obviously, Wilkie, Andy, I call him my stepfather. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
he is. I do consider him my father. But, like, there was a huge gap between when my dad left, like, my mom and everything, and I met Wilkie. So there's, like, a lot of things I want to do with my kid that I just didn't get to do. Because it's like, at this point, even with my father, with my real father, my biological father, we talk a little bit, but it's like, I'm never going to get that father-son time back. Now
Exactly.
with grown men. Like now, that's where it is now. At the end of the day, biologically, I'm your son, but right, we're two grown men at this point.
You're just
You're not
somebody
gonna,
I know.
right. Like you're not gonna, you can't
Yeah.
go back in time, go to my football games. You can't play with me. Like that's out the window.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
that's stuff I look forward to doing with my kid.
There's nothing like it, dude. You have no clue. Like I said, I'm a crier by nature, man. I'm not lying
Same,
to you.
dude.
I'll get emotional over a song, man.
I'm a
I
very
turned
emotional
42.
man.
Yeah, dude. I turned 42 yesterday, and now I hear songs from the 90s, which probably, in my opinion, the greatest generation of music ever created. No matter what type of music it was, if it was rock, if it was rap, there's nothing better than the 90s. The best music ever made came out of the 90s. It's just a fact. But I ain't lying. I'll hear a song from something, some radio band, Matchbox 20 or Oasis, and it gets me emotional just hearing it because, and it's probably just getting older. Something
Right.
I feel like that stuff's behind me, and I wish it was still here, but it is what it is at this point.
Did you end up going to Papa Do's for your birthday?
No, dude.
Where'd you go?
It's going to happen, but I'm gonna have to do that probably with you. My wife. See, here it is. My wife, if she shoot right now, just getting her to eat, she's eating fried shrimp with me. Fine.
Right.
We had some really good fried shrimp down in the Savannah when we went on our vacation, and she just doesn't like fish. She doesn't like fishy stuff or anything.
Fair enough.
So I can't make her, and I don't want to go up there, drop that kind of cheddar, and her not enjoy it at all.
Right.
So she'll be the first person to tell me, find somebody to go with. That way you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah,
so
some good shit. I ain't never had mahi till I went there. What me and my boy went before we went out to the club. Like he was like, bro, you ever been to Papa Do's? I was like, no. He's like, you want to go? I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at the menu, and I'm like, I've gotten less picky the older I've gotten, but I'm super fucking picky. So I was looking at the menu. I was like, I won't eat that. I won't eat that. I was like, dude, what the fuck's a scallop? He was like, I was like, is it an oyster? Is it like an oyster? Like, am I gonna like this? He was like, yeah, dude, you love it. I did fucking love it. Love my love scallops. My girlfriend makes bomb ass scallops. She's a chef, dude. I eat good over here. But yeah, Papa Do's.
A question.
Answer.
Are all scallops rubbery?
If you overcook them.
Okay, because I've tried scallops. I've never had them where they weren't more chewy than I like. And I'm a texture guy.
Same.
I can't eat mushy stuff. I'll always end up throwing chips into something, even if the chips don't fit it, just to give it crunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm like that. I can't stand Jello. I fucking hate Jello. Not a fan of pudding.
It is weird, dude.
Yeah.
That's why most people's got to be drinking to enjoy Jello.
Yeah, dude. Like, my girlfriend, we bought some fruit cups the other day, or what I thought were fruit cups. So I open it up, and I stick my spoon in it, and it's gelatin. Like, I'm like, gross. I'm not fucking eating this.
Yeah.
I was like, babe, what you?
Yeah, it's like every time you watch a movie that something shakes like that, nobody really wants to.
Right. It's like when you fucking let it out, it goes. It's like gross. Yeah. Who the fuck's gonna eat that?
I hear you.
But yeah, dude. Yeah, you would love Papa Do's.
What my main thing is, I want to eat giant crab legs. I've never had
king crab.
Never had them. Never had crab legs or anything, dude. But
you never had crab legs?
I see them, I've never had crab's legs. I've never had lobster legs or anything, dude.
What?
Dude, fish and shrimp. That's about all I've ever been exposed to, man.
Lee motherfucking.
I know, Bubba. Dude, this has been my life right here. Really small.
Bro. So I've never had king crab. King crab is a big ass fucking crab. My girl loves it.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I love snow crab. Snow crab is really fucking good. I'm not a fan of blue crab.
Yeah.
Blue crab's the one with the whole body. Not a fan of that. I don't like looking at the little beady eyes.
Yeah.
Snow crab is really fucking good. Tell me out, dude. You're from the South. You never had a low country boil?
Oh, I've had that, but it has never once come with crab legs.
That's not
all low country boils I've ever had shrimp, crawfish, then sausage, the typical stuff, potatoes and corn.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
No big deal, dude.
Sorry. That was. Hold on. Boom, we're back. Yeah, sorry. That is. I'm gonna have to take that call after this. I have a showing tomorrow. And that's who that
Good for you, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome, man.
Doing it.
Big stuff.
Trying to at least. My first clients are friends of mine. So it's a lot of the stress level's not there because
good, that eases you into it. I hear you, man.
Right. And they're renting. So the process on my side is a bit easier. You know, it's because for me as an agent, all I have to do is find them the house when it comes to rentals. I don't help them with the rental process, anything like that. I just find them the house. That's all I
Find
do.
them something to do.
Right.
See, if I was doing that stuff, I'm a people person. I can just talk to anyone, but I'd be fighting the urge to drop a really tasteless joke or something in front of people I didn't know.
Dude,
You
I
know,
find that. Go ahead.
Something about people in a wheelchair, and then all of a sudden I get really bad looks.
just those really dark humor jokes, and it's like,
like, I'm gonna buy the place, but you're weird.
like you've seen Step Brothers, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's like when Derek was showing all the houses and the dudes were playing in the houses, just like,
yeah.
Why'd you come out of here? You only died last week. Yeah, dude. I'm a good talker. Like that's all I ever do. I don't know if you read that post on Facebook. In fourth grade, I think it was fourth grade, my teacher separated me from the class and put me in a cubicle in the corner by myself because I couldn't stop talking.
Dude, my son's getting it from me already. He loves it.
Yeah, us. That's literally how our relationship started, just talking. Like every time I'd come over there, I would tell Wilkie, like, yo, I gotta go pee, and then I talk to you for 20 minutes.
Dude, Dooley, he loves sports too. He can't quit talking about it. But literally, he just weird stuff out of the blue. Daddy, if Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes were both missing a leg, who do you think would win the Super Bowl?
Tom Brady.
he could. I would say, heck, I don't know, man. I'd have to go with the younger one with the strongest legs, I guess, and Patrick Mahomes. But
gotta go with the GOAT, man. Tom Brady can make that call.
Oh, don't start that with me. Don't do that.
Gotta do it. Hey,
look, I'm not saying he's not great, but he ain't the GOAT. He ain't.
Who's better?
Numbers would only matter if he had played in the era of Joe Montana, when Lawrence Taylor was doing a bump of coke before he tried to kill you in the middle.
Yeah, but that's a different time. That's like incomparable.
Yeah,
we can't even do that.
But you can still say that you believe Joe Montana could do what he could do in this era, but I do not believe that Brady could go back to that era and do it.
Well,
he has played under rules for quarterbacks that benefited them greatly.
I won't deny that. I feel like there's two great contrasts because back then the players were a lot harder, a lot tougher. But
they were allowed to be. They were, like I said, you saw what Lawrence Taylor did to Joe Theismann's leg. He almost ripped it off.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So there's definitely higher caliber, a lot more violence in the players back then. But now I feel like if you were to put these complex defenses that they run now versus Joe Montana back then, I feel like Joe Montana would shit a brick. He'd be like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
You think they would have slowed those slants down to Jerry Rice?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Safeties are faster now, yeah.
Bro, Joe Montana, whatever does it sound like, what the fuck is that? What am I supposed to do? Like, yeah, they would have been like, just check it. I don't fucking know. Figure it out.
I hear you. You know what I was watching today?
What's up?
Most of the FCS didn't play a fall season.
Yes.
So today I was so desperate. I'm just desperate for football because it's my favorite thing. Heck, I got like six mini helmets. For,
I remember.
I got 6 more for my birthday over the weekend.
Oh,
I got two Nebraskas and a Texas, and I got a bunch of really groovy stuff. But I was watching Wofford, and I think it was Eastern Tennessee. The SoCon was playing today. God, dude, the camera was horrible. I'm still watching it.
To this day, my favorite college fucking football game was 2018 Rose Bowl, Georgia versus Oklahoma.
That's easy, man. That's because
so good.
That game right there, I think, is the most exciting I've ever been during the football. So good. It wasn't coming back, and it didn't feel like it at the time, but if you go back and watch it to see them squib that kick right before halftime and Hot Rod hit that field goal, it changed that game.
100%.
We don't get that field goal. We possibly can't come back.
No, we wouldn't come back.
Yeah, the feeling of that game changed on that field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, momentum shifted. Every time I watch that game, I literally feel everything I felt when I watched it the first time. I remember standing up when Sony Michel fucking ran that bitch off the side. I was like, go, go, go. I'm a disappointed Georgia fan, though. I'll say it. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed we're disappointed every year.
I'm disappointed, dog.
Disappointed at how? I mean, it's like you're disappointed what Kirby's managed. Oh, I feel you, Bubba. I understand. I've been saying it for the past 2 years. that if Kirby Smart doesn't win a national championship at all, heck, he might not get over it if he only wins one. He needs to win more than one national title because the talent he has is ridiculous. And if he doesn't do extremely well, not just really well,
you have to
one
do
national title,
well. Yeah,
his epitaph on his gravestone will say, "I let Justin Fields go."
right,
You know
right.
what I mean, man?
Yeah, no,
It'll be like,
100%.
what did I do? You know?
100%. I mean, like, and it's like, there's no denying that Kirby's a great fucking coach, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just
He
that
may be a better recruiter, though.
yes, but what I was
He
gonna
might.
say is it's just that Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney have set the bar so high
Yeah,
that
we're
you, like
in.
you say, even if you just win one, it's not enough.
Yes, it's
It's
not.
just not. You're not a high caliber program if you're only winning one because you over down the road you have Clemson, Alabama winning them year after year.
Yeah, particularly like I said, looking, we've got the most ridiculous collection of talent Georgia's ever seen at one time. It's crazy.
I mean, I feel like it's been like, I mean, I wouldn't say ridiculous talent as far as the past seasons, but we've had great talent for the last 6 years. No, about 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
After Kirby got past his first season, he started bringing in stupid talent,
One hundred
and it
percent.
seems like he's done less with more. And hopefully that's changed now. It looked like last year he finally decided, I'm going to try to keep my hands off the offense and let somebody else run the offense. I'm a defensive guy. And he
Right.
needs to do that. He needs to just let someone have the offense and say, turn this into a well-oiled machine and I'll get stops for it. That's all he's got to do.
I mean, that's how delegation of power works. I mean,
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that's just what football is now.
right.
It is not, the old thing about, defense wins championship. Of course, we're saying that. And then Tom Brady, that defense for Tampa Bay was ridiculous. But it's not that doesn't work that way much in college football anymore. You just have to have a defense that gets enough stops to make sure the offense can be ahead by a couple scores by the end of the game. Even Nick Saban.
It depends. It depends on who you're playing, in my opinion. Because definitely in the South, like this smash mouth football,
Yeah.
like you gotta have a stout fucking defense. But once you go up north, it's just who can outscore who. But like again, Georgia versus Alabama, the last few times we played, a good defense didn't work. We needed
No,
a
it didn't.
fucking
And not
iron curtain.
and then but look at it too. Look, that doesn't happen when Clemson plays Alabama. Neither one shuts the other down.
Right, right.
It's just like, it's like 215-pound fighters just for 12 rounds nonstop, just letting them go.
Right.
Neither one gets knocked down. They're both just flying off the
head. Right. But that's what happens when you meet your fucking your equal.
Exactly. There's no one else who can play like that.
Right.
That's why those two do that.
You literally have to. It's like this. I'm gonna make an analogy. It's gonna sound kind of shitty. It's like when you put a turbo on a car, it's gonna find the fucking weak spot. You have to build everything up before you put that turbo in, and I feel like that's the same when you go against Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney. If you have a missing link, where how small it is, they're going to find it, and they're going to be upset at the end of the fucking game.
If you knew it was there and he found it in the game.
If you know it's there, he knows it's there.
Not to mention the fact he don't need a whole game to exploit it. He can be down at the half. We've had him that way twice. No, 3 times. No, I was at the SEC championship the second time. We had him in the national championship game down at the half. The SEC championship game, I was there. And then the doggone Stetson Bennett had a lead at the halftime last year.
Dude, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Horrible, man. And it's hard being a fan in Georgia of sports, man.
Fuck yeah, it is. Well, I'm not an Atlanta fan. So I'm exempt from that.
That's why I said Georgia.
Right.
That's why I tried to cover it all.
Right.
I grew up watching the Falcons when they were in the West Coast division, and they had to play the Rams twice a year, the 49ers twice a year, and I loved them then. I have a hard time loving the Falcons now. It's just not there like it used to be because it's like
I tried, man. I tried. I even rooted for them. I'm a Patriots fan. I'll tell you why. But I even rooted for them.
Good on that bandwagon.
No, I will tell you why. But yeah, I even rooted for the Falcons against the Patriots. And then when they lost, I was like, what fucking more can you do?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I give up.
Right. So Patriot fan. First NFL game I ever watched on my own without my dad watching it with me was when Brady went 17-0 and lost to the Giants. I watched the Super Bowl and I saw the Giants win. So I thought that New England. I was a kid at the time, so I thought, okay, New England's the underdog. That's gonna be my team from now on. Little did I know they had the greatest fucking quarterback ever, and that they're fucking. I didn't know that at the time, but I've been a Patriots fan ever since. I got a fucking Reeboks stitched Brady jersey way before they ever went.
How long ago was that, dude?
What the Super Bowl? That Super Bowl?
That Super Bowl.
It was like I think it was the 07 season, 2008 February Super Bowl.
I am so old now. It feels like yesterday watching that game, dude.
Dude, it does. That was a great game.
Dude caught the football
on the helmet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the only fucking game that would happen in. Eli Manning, if Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever play, Eli Manning's beat him twice. He's better. I'm a Brady fan, but I don't care. What do you say?
Oh God.
What do you say?
Man. Never beat them Giants. You think Brady will be thinking about that if he's retired? I never beat the Giants.
Yes. If I was Eli every day, still couldn't beat me though.
Texting him away.
It wasn't me.
Picture of my ring,
Thinking of you. 2 rings off of him. Let me ask you this: Did you like Peyton Manning?
Huh?
Did you like Peyton Manning?
Did I like him? Yeah, I did. I wasn't a super huge fan of him, but he was great. Can't take it from him. He was like thing about him, he was a coach on the field who had the physical ability to be a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But the funniest thing I've ever seen is Peyton Manning run. It's like, well, you're from Georgia, so you've seen a buzzard try to cross the road when it's scared.
Yes.
You know how goofy that looks?
Yes.
That was Peyton Manning coming out of the backfield thinking he was about to try to run the ball.
Not a fan of
Dude's great, man. He could just kick you apart all day. He just never. I can't name besides the earlier the receivers Colts. And all he had for the Colts. Yeah,
Cold days. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I can't name the great players he had around him.
I don't think he ever had any great players. What was one receiver he had, like you said, with the Colts? Was it Reggie Wayne? Maybe is that his name?
Yes, Reggie Wayne. That was Reggie it. Wayne? And what was the running back?
I don't remember
the dude from LSU. Wasn't great though. He's just a good running back.
But, that's what happens when you have a good leader. I don't know what it is. I've just never been a fan of Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Hey, dude makes I think the dude makes commercials better than he played football.
You ain't wrong. And I'm pretty sure he makes a fuckload more doing those damn commercials.
And he ain't getting hit by anybody coming from the other side either.
Right. Well, you know what's weird? Actually, now that I think of it, I don't know why this just popped in my head. We still see a lot of these old retired players. We don't hear from Ray Lewis.
It's crazy, man. You're right. Although every now and then he pops out and he talks about Miami, but I don't really. And then he got a little political a few years ago.
Did he?
A little. Oh yeah, he. I think it was even a pro-Trump type thing he got about for a little bit.
Ray Lewis.
But Ray Lewis talked about the black community more than he. It wasn't necessarily political. It was about maybe. I'll have to look into it. I don't want to put it on him, but he got a little political, not extremely, but he did some stuff where he was preaching at church, I think, and then he got a little political.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, but he just disappeared again. But what needs to happen is he needs to go to Miami and help Ed Reed build that program back up.
I feel so bad for Miami fans, dog.
Dude, there's a reason I have like 2 Nebraska helmets. I love college football and its history, and Miami is better than what we get now.
Oh, hell yeah.
The college football world is better when Southern Cal is good, when Michigan is good, when Notre Dame is good, when Miami is good. You know what I mean? Because right now it's Clemson, it's Alabama, Ohio State sprinkled in.
Right. It's
like everybody else chasing them.
Right. Yeah. It's like the same few.
It's old. I can't stand it.
I don't. When Mark Richt left and went to Miami, my mom's boyfriend's a Miami fan, and he was so happy. And I was staring at him like, bro, that's not a win. No, you're not going to do good. Then he had that 1 year. We did pretty
good year.
He had that good year.
Then, you remember he tried to act Miami coming doing the halftime in that bowl game?
Yes.
So hold on, calm down now.
Yes. Mark Richt's just not that guy.
No, but the thing about it is he's the larger part of my learning to love the Georgia Bulldogs. I liked the Bulldogs before that, but I was doing me stuff before that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was living, going out and doing stuff.
Right.
Then when I settled down, I got married and everything, and Saturdays became football and doing stuff. I was Mark Richt, and the biggest moments as a Georgia fan before Kirby and the Rose Bowl, it was the things that Mark Richt did. It was coming close to a couple of national championships. He did it twice, but
he's not a bad dude.
Never enough.
He's not a bad dude, but I feel like towards the end of his Georgia career, it just kind of became either it seemed like he just stopped trying to me, or it just became apparent that he was just like, fuck it, like y'all gonna get what y'all trying to me.
I think it was more not wanting football to overcome doing good things by the kids. When Mark Richt says that taking care of your son and making him a better man is my real focal point, he meant it. Right. He meant what he said. He wanted your kid to have a better life outside of college football.
And I respect that. I respect that from I used to play football. I respect that from coaches.
The biggest problem is college football is not built that way anymore.
Correct. I was just about to say.
It's not that sport. Joe Paterno would never get a job now. You know what I mean? Past all of the stuff that went down.
Uh-huh.
If you come in and say, I want to make these kids good kids, you're going to get asked by the boosters, hold on a second, what are you going to do to win?
Right.
That's all that matters anymore.
That's what I was just going to say. You can't say that to a state that is looking at the state next to them like, okay, our kids are fine. Why the fuck don't we have 5 rings like them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Particularly with the talent in Georgia. Georgia is the top 4 in D1 talent producing football players in the whole country.
I think
it outdoes. I'm pretty sure it outdoes Florida now.
Do you know who Ben Cleveland is? I don't know if he still plays for.
Oh God, yes.
I met him at a football camp. We were doing fucking the one-on-one drills, and I'm in line. Right, this is a true story. I'm counting the lines. I'm counting in line, seeing who I gotta go against. I see Ben Cleveland. I'm like, I'm a prideful man. Fuck him. Fuck this. And I walk to the back of the line.
Dude,
like I'm not doing it.
It is intimidating being in his presence.
Yes.
Me and my son were coming back from a football game afterwards once, and he was coming out of the Butts Mayor building at the same time. So me and Dooley got to stop him for just a second. And I'm telling you now, there aren't many humans who are going to look eye to eye with him. Doors don't do well with him. What I'm excited about, have you heard the story? I think it was Isaiah McKenzie was telling about how they were doing 225-pound reps on the bars in the weight room. He got past 50 and they had to make him stop.
That's fucking.
They had to make him stop at 50. Can you imagine what the people on ESPN are going to say when the combine gets started and they put him in on those boils?
That's fucking crazy, dude.
They made him stop at 50 at 225, man. That is insane.
He's a massive dude.
He's different. It's just
he doesn't have a stomach. Cornbread and hay bales. That's all he is.
It's exactly it, man.
Like seriously.
It's what they're going to have to do is they have to speed his feet up and make him flexible. But as far as power goes, nobody's going to outpower Ben Cleveland.
No, dude, he's a massive dude. And I wish him the best. I wasn't about to go against him.
I'll put it to you like this: if football doesn't work, he's got a future in WWE. They'll pay you.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That's what that's where The Rock came from. Roman Reigns. Who's that? Who's the Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of dudes go from
massive. He Brock may Lesnar. Have to develop a. Yeah. Brock Lesnar was a a national champion wrestler. I'm pretty sure. Iowa, maybe? No, Minnesota. It was at Minnesota. It was at Minnesota. And dude's just like you said, man, coming off the farm, ready to do work.
Yeah. I it's funny because I was watching a lot of Brock Lesnar a couple months ago, but not for any praise towards him. I used to like watching him get beat in the UFC because his strategies when he fought was kind of the same thing. He would always get him on the ground and just hammer fist the shit out of him.
Just lay on him and pound him, yeah.
And then he went up against Frank Mir for the first time, and he wrapped him up in some, I think he got him in a ankle lock, some sort of shit. I do jiu-jitsu. Well, I had to stop because of my career, because I'm trying to build a career, but I love jiu-jitsu. And when he did that, I was like, that's fucking awesome. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. That's some cool shit.
Yeah.
But all right, brother. So let's get into this Chernobyl shit.
All right. Did you enjoy
The show?
the show on HBO?
I did. I think I told you this. The only complaint I had, and this is because I'm a history buff,
Mm-hmm.
is that I couldn't get over the fucking British accents. I know why
Yeah.
they did it. I respect it, but I don't care. I couldn't get over
which
it.
is which, like we said, is strange because a Russian accent's so easy to do.
Right, and it's so easy to do, and it's so different from what they did on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like,
Yeah.
bro, a 2-year-old could tell the difference between a Russian accent and a British accent. But
Mm-hmm.
I did very much enjoy the show, very, very
Oh,
much.
it was a. Most people need to watch it just to understand the scope
Mm-hmm.
of what happened in 1986 and what could have
Right.
happened. I did some ridiculous
Tell us, dog.
notes. I sent you those pictures, dude.
Yes, sir.
I got
Tell
that
us.
picture. What most people don't know, if you don't, that's a picture of the floor and the radioactive material melting through one and going down into the basement. And it was so big, people would stand next to it, and it was 6 and 7 times bigger than the people who stood next to it. Now, the worst part about that was there was so much radiation coming off of that if you stood next to it for 2 minutes, your lifespan was about 10 years after that. You
Yeah.
weren't going to see much. And they just didn't understand the scope of what was happening at the time because most of the people around it weren't the engineers who screwed everything up in the first place. It was those firefighters that they sent in to fight everything.
Right.
It was the cleanup people, what they called the liquidators on the roof, who were trying to get up all of the
Who were running
lead.
for 10 seconds or
Yeah, running
seconds,
back and forth, get the lead, get it back. There were so many people who just didn't understand what was happening. And the worst part was, and this is one of my notes, the biggest reason people died and one of the worst reasons that bad things happened to folks around the Chernobyl incident, which, and most people don't even understand, it was in a town called Pripyat. All the evil, like the scary abandoned hotels that people see in like Call of Duty and in movies.
Right.
That's the town. It's Pripyat. I didn't even understand that for some time.
I didn't know
the
that.
Chernobyl, that's the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody wanted to admit that there was a problem.
Right.
Starting from, you remember even the guy Anatoly Dyatlov. Now that guy in real life is as douchey and a horrible human as they portrayed in the movie.
Yeah, he was a cunt.
Yes, he was. He was a horrible, horrible human being. Okay, and nobody wanted to admit that there was a problem. You remember in that they all kept saying, "How does an RBMK reactor blow up?" Well, because it's the cheapest piece of shit reactor that you could build at the time. That's why.
Nobody wanted to admit that, though.
No, they didn't want to admit they had a piece of shit reactor. And let's be honest, if you talk about the most useful form of energy for people, it's probably nuclear energy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nuclear energy is the best way to get more energy to people right now. We can always clean our energy up, but nuclear energy is the best way going forward, as long as it is done safely.
I was just gonna say that's what I've always thought. I've always thought that nuclear should be the way to go, but apparently there's a lot of arguments against it. I haven't looked into them per se because I don't have time to, but apparently there's a lot of arguments, like valid arguments.
There's always going to be, because of look at what happens at a place like Chernobyl. Because people are irresponsible with it. They have an ego where they will not admit that there's a problem. And then look, in life, there are things you can't go cheap on. Okay. Right. Good deodorant. Good salsa and chips. And maybe a nuclear reactor. Okay.
Right.
Don't go cheap on your nuclear reactor. It's ridiculous and it gets people killed. And in this situation, if they hadn't have got the water out of the basement, if you remember that happened, if that radioactive material,
so it would be like a bomb,
reached that water, it would have created another bomb that, from what I understand, would have affected 7,000 cubic meters around there and made it uninhabitable for 100 years. Now, just think about that for a second, because even the people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they didn't have to leave after those bombs were dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at what they explained in the documentary, the first day was the equivalent of 24 bombs. That was just the stuff that was getting released.
Wasn't that the first hour?
Day.
Wasn't it hours? Like 2 bombs went off like every hour or some shit like that?
every hour. But I think the first days they said it was either the equivalent of 24 to 48 bombs being dropped in the
That
first
blew
day
my
of
fucking
what
mind.
was released out of that plant.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
The
That's
scope
insane.
of it, most people just don't understand. It's insane.
And it's like Chernobyl, and then what is it? Fukushima, whatever. Where that plant,
Fukushima, I believe.
yeah,
Fukushima.
that plant in
I'm pretty
Japan.
sure.
I
Yeah.
don't, and I believe Japan's issue was the plant was out of date by like 10 years,
Yeah.
and that's why they had meltdown issues.
Like I said, you can't go cheap on this. You have to maintain and make sure it's safe.
I'm
It can
actually
affect too
super
much.
fascinated. I love watching nuclear reactor videos on YouTube. Like
Dude,
I
that's
just
why. That's how. When they were explaining about the rods being pushed back down
mhm,
while they were doing the test, well,
mhm,
I had to go and find out what those rods did and why. When he saw lead on the roof of the thing,
mhm.
how the guy who was
I think it was graphite on
oh
the roof. It was graphite on the roof.
graphite. That's right. It was
Graphite.
graphite, and how that made him understand. He said the core has to be open.
That was my
You would
favorite part.
not see the graphite if the core wasn't open.
That
And
was
at
my
that point, it got real. Yeah.
when the general dude or colonel dude, whoever it was, remember he was flying around with the doctor, and then they went down and met with the two heads of the plant, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, it's nothing exploded, nothing exploded." And the dude was like, "Okay," and then he turns back, he's like, "Why did I see graphite on the roof?" And it's like,
Exactly.
graphite? Like, oh no, that's
Mm-hmm.
not concrete. He's like, I may not know much about nuclear reactors, but I know a lot about concrete. That's not concrete.
No, it's not.
That was my
Uh,
favorite part.
yeah. Well, my favorite part was at the end of the when they were explaining it,
At the court.
and at the courtroom scene. What they did was they dumbed it down for people to make it more understandable.
Mm-hmm.
They slowed it down and talked about it in steps. They did that for a reason. They wanted to make sure that those judges did not misunderstand
Right.
what happened and why it happened.
I loved that
It's
show, dude. That was such a good
dude,
show.
I can't get enough of stuff like that, dude. And the best part about it is we've obviously, or the whole world has tried to be safer since, but it exposed a problem that Russia had, or the Soviet Union at the time. The Soviet Union did not like admitting problems.
And
You remember when they were in that? Remember when they were in that room with the old white guy,
mm-hmm.
and he was just basically rah-rahing them up, getting them
Yeah.
admit to just fall in line. Basically, is
Mm-hmm.
what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the grossest things I've ever seen is they'll just stop and clap him on.
Yeah.
It was like it was horrible. Like
I mean,
nobody
at
was
the
willing to
time,
question.
like you said, at the time, it explained one of the faults of the Soviet Union, and obviously they didn't want to come out and say that they made a mistake, and if I'm not mistaken, that time period was what, right after or during the arms race, wasn't it, or the Cold War? Sorry.
It was right there. This all happened right there near when the Soviet Union was going to fall.
Okay, so this was after the Cold War then.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, way after. So obviously they don't want to look inferior to their rivals. They're not going to go out and say that and have the U.S. because in their minds, if we look inferior to the United States, they're going to blow us to fucking sky high with their goddamn nukes. So in that
not
aspect,
to mention
go ahead.
Forgive me for stepping. Not to mention the fact the only reason it came out was because high levels of radiation got detected in two countries over.
Right, Sweden. Where else?
They didn't.
Norway, right? Maybe
yes,
not. Norway.
It was. And the funny thing is, most people, if you don't have an understanding of where Russia is, most people think Russia's up above Afghanistan and all that. No, Russia's actually, or even Moscow, is really close to those other countries. It's Ukraine and all that stuff, which is where this happened. All that is most of that up there to the right hand side of that is Siberia and all that. And not many people are living there. You've got the nomads who live in the negative 40 degrees. But most of that stuff, they're all piled together, And the only reason they admitted a problem was because somebody exposed them to the rest of the world.
Right, and if they didn't do it, if they would have listened to what they were being told by the KGB director, remember he kept coming down on that scientist. Nobody would have ever known.
Nope, nobody.
Who knows how much more damage it could have done?
And the funny thing is, I think I might have mentioned it to you. There was a movie I watched called Child 44 that had Tom Hardy, and it was based, and I'm pretty sure, in the 1940s or 1950s Soviet Union in Moscow. and there was basically someone was killing and raping children. And the people kept overlooking it. The people who were in charge of police and all that, saying those are Western problems. That doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did tell me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was a lot of that. If you notice from Anatoly Dyatlov and all those other guys, when they say how does a RBMK reactor explode? Nobody's ego wanted to admit that this is a problem and we have to face it. It's the same thing with what happened when those children getting killed. This guy, he was a police officer, and his commander kept saying, "No, that doesn't happen." And you can feel that permeating through the power of the Soviet Union at the time.
100%. I mean, that's one of the many faults of mankind is admitting when we're wrong, especially amongst men. Let's be honest. No man wants to admit when he's wrong.
Particularly when it's on that scale.
Exactly. But, you know, when you're threatening basically all of the world, it's like, I don't want to be the one to say that.
No.
So tell me about that podcast, that Chernobyl podcast that you were talking about that one time, because I haven't looked it up. So I've been waiting to talk to you.
It's not a Chernobyl podcast. The first I discovered it because I was looking up things to explain what happened in Chernobyl, and it came up. There was a podcast by a guy. He calls himself the Dark Somni. And if you ever want to fall asleep really well, start his stories. He has a very soothing voice when he's telling stories. Dude is very good at what he does. But basically what it was is it said that something evil happened at Chernobyl and they haven't told me. And so I said, I thought it was real at the time. So I clicked on it. And basically it became a story about, and it's basically how every horror movie starts. Somebody wants to sneak into a place they're not supposed to be, a couple of teenagers or something. And they snuck into Chernobyl and got beneath it, and come to find out, the explanation was the reason Chernobyl happened was because Soviet scientists had found wormholes to other universes and other realities beneath there, and they basically built that power plant over just to cover it up. But something came through one of those wormholes and created the explosion, and they had to lock it all down to contain what was ever in there. And then the rest of the story is about this guy. He gets out,
right?
But he left his friend in, so he's trying to figure out how to get back in. And a scientist that worked there is on the grounds at the time and catches him and makes him go back in under the guise of, I'm going to help you find your friend. When in reality, the guy understands what's going on, and he's going to sacrifice both of them because he's going to blow it up, trap whatever is in there.
Now, I remember when you telling me it's fake, but that sounds cool as hell. Like, it sounds interesting as hell.
Yeah, the guy has all kinds of really good stories. Like I said, it's almost as good as Rain on a Tin Roof.
Yeah.
It'll put you to you plug your earphones in. Yeah. He's got a very good tone when he tells a story that sucks you in. I'll just be staring at my phone.
You get sucked in by another man's voice, Lee?
Yeah, just listening to I'm okay with me. But he tells stories so well, and I'm just, it's not even watching TV. It's just focusing on this man's voice and how he's giving you a story.
Does he make these up
that much anymore? Huh?
Does he make these stories up, or is he just reading stuff he's found?
People send him stories. He'll give them credit for it, and I think he might even pay them for their story because he just can't write. He's been doing this for 6 or 7 years.
Right.
And the stories just suck me in, dude. These guys, it's a new thing. You always grow up hearing about books on tape or something like that, and listen to other people tell stories. Yeah. This is not new, but it is. Because there's other people doing it too. There's one guy named Mr. Creeps, and for some reason the word pasta gets put into their names. There's Creepy Pasta. He does stories. My favorite stories are the ones where people are stuck in snow situations. Right. There was this one where this guy was on campus in Nebraska at school, and he was coming from the gas station. Everybody was getting to their dorms because a snowstorm was hitting, and it was already snowy. But they got where they were low on cigarettes, and they decided to go to the gas station again real quick and get back. By the time about halfway through the snow, they get turned around, can't find their way. They find this booth near the bank, and they go into it to stay in there, and they can see something in the snow, just kind of like tremors in the snow, the movie Tremors. Yeah, they can see something moving, but something breaks the glass, and they have to get out and try to run. And his friend gets snatched under the snow and killed. And so he manages to get to the gas station and holes up there before he can go home the next morning. And the stories tend to be about 15 to 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
But
so
they
real
pull
short.
you in with, they don't want to they try not to overdo, although there are some hour and a half stories I've listened to.
Mm-hmm.
But the best ones are always the shorter ones where they can pull you in with a good story and then give you a delivery.
I wish they'd make more movies out of that because, like, nowadays, dude, movies are literally just remakes of movies they've already made. It gets boring after a while. It's like I want to see something new.
The sad part is I'm a comic book fan. I'm tired of comic book movies, dude.
Really?
I'm tired of them, man.
Even with the new wave that's supposed to be coming, because all the old Marvel movies are kind of done with those characters, bringing in new ones.
Well, it seems like it's a step back. It's the secondary characters. It feels like the next thing that hurts my feelings is we're not going to get another Black Panther movie with Chad Boseman. It's just,
dude,
you know how much that
hurt.
That hurt. It really did, man.
That was such a good movie.
Do you know why people liked that movie so much? And they really, Chad Boseman wasn't super known before. You could just see Chad Boseman was a good human being.
He was a great dude.
That, you know what I mean, man?
Hell yeah.
You could just feel good person on Chad Boseman.
Did you watch any of his other movies like Message from the King or Jackie or 42?
Obviously, I saw 42. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You didn't see Message from the King?
I have not.
It might be on Netflix. The best way I could describe it is like just a quick short movie that he did. This is the reason why he did it. He did it to practice his accent for the Black Panther. So in it he's practicing his African accent for the Black Panther. And basically what the story is he comes to America to visit his sister, and like nobody's heard or seen his sister in days. And then he finds out that she was basically killed by this group of guys, and he goes and basically beats the shit out of them.
Okay.
I mean, it's really
I'll
good.
look into it.
Yeah,
like I said, dude, Chad Boseman. Very rarely do you get somebody who comes across. Now, he obviously didn't get much time to get tied into the modern America and what we're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not glad of it. But I'm glad that what I know of Chad Boseman is he just a great human being. You know what I mean, dude? You didn't get none of the side stuff off of a person to where it's possible might make you dislike them or like them less or something. The best thing was your impression of Chad Boseman is one of the better people that God ever put on the planet. You just get that off.
And not to mention, how many people on this planet do you know that will literally hide what they're going through on a house?
I had no clue.
Right, nobody did.
When I saw a picture of him near the end, I was blown away. No clue.
Same. When I remember seeing a picture and I was like, he looks sick. And I saw a bunch of people like on Instagram were like, oh, he's just possibly preparing for another role or whatever. Kind of like what 50 Cent did for that movie he did. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, he got super grossly skinned.
Christian Bale did it before he did Batman too.
Yeah.
He did a movie called The Machinist. Really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But God, he looked horrible. And from what I understand, he affected his system so bad before that movie that he has to take a certain type of vitamin or something for his immune or something to help his body get along normally because of how much he's
always happens. That's what happened to Matthew McConaughey when he dropped all that weight for that. I think it was Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, I never seen it, but I remember listening. I my girlfriend who loves Matthew McConaughey. She said that she found him really attractive until he lost all that weight, and that once he put that weight back on, he never looked the same. And he addressed that on Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't know if you watched that episode, but he addressed it, dude. Yeah, it's something about losing that much weight when you put it back. It's just like you never go back to what it was.
Yeah, your system can't deal with it.
Right. It's just it's a dramatic change. It's just weird.
Speaking of Matthew McConaughey, we've gotten into movies right now. I have done something that in the South can be sacrilegious. You've seen Smokey and the Bandit, I imagine, right?
I've got a copy right here, dude. I love Smokey and the
Bandit. It's kind of going against what I just talked about, not liking remakes and all that. But if we were going to ever talk about recasting Smokey and the Bandit, you can make people real mad, dude. Yeah.
I want to hear it.
I'm not lying, dude. You can hurt people's feelings touching Smokey and the Bandit because we got this just love for what we got out of that first Smokey and the Bandit movie. You know what I mean?
Great movie.
But I've recast it, and if you were going to make another one, I think I've got it figured out.
Tell me. I'm interested. Tell me.
All right. Frog is easy to do. You can just throw Reese Witherspoon in there. Southern, cute, pretty lady. All right, that's easy. Mm-hmm. You go past that, you got it. Then you get to Buford T. Justice. And I think you got to have somebody with a smart ass mouth, cusses, and all that stuff, you know. And I think Ron White, the comedian, I think he's
Fair
perfect.
enough. He could do it, possibly.
I think he's
He'd be
perfect.
Jackie Gleason, though, dude.
It's too old.
I'm pretty proud of this next one, but if in my opinion, the guy that could play Snowman is and just do the old grizzled Southern big mouth dude. It's why am I drawing a blank? The guy that it was in Sling Blade, Billy Bob
I've
Thornton.
never seen it. I've never seen Sling Blade.
You've never seen Sling Blade?
Never seen it, dog. Is that a must? Do I need to write
You
that
have
down?
to. Well, you have to because it's that. I think they filmed that movie for like $150,
Oh, wow.
and that's how Billy Bob Thornton got famous. He got nominated for an Oscar. He just happened to get nominated at the same time. I'm pretty sure that Tom Hanks was nominated for an Oscar for Forrest Gump, and that was just the worst time there was. Nobody was going to take that from him.
Right.
But Billy Bob Thornton, the guy that plays Bad Santa, you've at least seen Bad Santa.
Oh, yes.
He could play Snowman, driving that old truck, just that grizzled look, you know.
I agree with
now,
that.
This one right here, because you just mentioned him, and I've been telling people, you just want Southern charm, suave, a dude that every girl likes, and you throw Matthew McConaughey in a Trans Am, and he's the only one that can pull that off. Matthew McConaughey as the bandit's just perfect. He's the only one. There's nobody else on the planet, but Matthew McConaughey could
Might
play
have
that part.
one. Might have one. Bradley Cooper. Only reason is because
you are not wrong, dude.
He killed that accent.
Bradley Cooper.
In yes. American Sniper. And Bradley Cooper, look, I'll judge a man. I don't do shit. Bradley Cooper is a lot better looking than Matthew McConaughey. That's all I'm saying. And he's younger. He's a bit younger than Matthew.
The young part would be what worked for him.
Right.
You're not wrong on that.
Yeah, he can do it.
You just flipped everything up on me. Now I'm thinking, dude, I've been telling people about this for years. And you just screwed it up.
You better X out Matthew McConaughey then. Have you heard of the game The Last of Us?
Oh God, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so all right. So apparently they're trying to make a movie out of it. And who they're trying to cast as Joel, they want to cast Pedro Pascal as Joel.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
he's the hot guy right now. Everybody wants him and everything. Yeah,
right.
He's the Mandalorian.
Right.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a really good actor. I loved him in Narcos.
I'm a big fan too. I obviously in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Yeah. His death was just his death was just so breaking because I thought he was about to murk the mountain.
Dude, I woke up this morning saying, just kill him.
Right.
Just kill him.
Yeah, he's just gonna start yelling at him and poking him with a stick. He's too damn big to be messing with like that.
Quit talking and kill him already.
Yeah, dude, that hurt. That hurt. The Viper versus the Mountain. Michael, he told me about it. He's like, "You seen the Viper versus the Mountain yet?" I was like, "No, that sounds great. What is it?" And then, yeah, very disappointing.
That was the best. That was one of the things about Game of Thrones, dude. If you really like the character, don't love him too long.
I still can't get over Ned Stark's death. That
blew me away, dude. That was the most shocked I've ever been with a television show because he was king, you know. Like how do you,
honorable man.
Up until the moment he died, I was sure something was going to stop.
Same.
But then after that happened, for the rest of the time I was watching that series, I was knowing everybody was going to die.
The only death that I kind of like when it happened, I wasn't just like, oh fuck, was Jon Snow. When he died, I was like, there's no way they're killing him right now. I was like, they're bringing him back.
You just like, no, they have to bring. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Right. I was like,
there was a one time you were extremely sure of yourself. Yeah.
Right. But when he killed Daenerys, I was like, ooh, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to kill Daenerys.
Have you ever been more disappointed of the final season of a television show
Terrible.
in your whole life?
Gross.
It's like all of a sudden the prince that was promised, that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
All of a sudden the flashbacks to Ned fighting to take him as a baby don't matter anymore. None of that mattered anymore.
Nothing.
You know the main reason that happened, don't you?
I do not.
Because the two guys that were responsible for that show, Ned, they grew up Star Wars fans.
Mm-hmm.
And they were basically getting out of the show because they got a 3-run deal on Star Wars movies to go do Star Wars flicks.
So they just kind of like just wrote whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just screw it. Finish this up and let's get out of here.
You can tell how like you saying that as an explanation makes so much sense because that's literally
You can
what
feel
it
it.
felt like.
Yep,
Yeah, I
you
remember
can feel
watching.
it watching that last season.
I had watch parties for every episode that last season, and every time after they left, I was kind of looking around like that sucked. Like, am I the only one
It
that
was
doesn't like
horrible.
that? Like, it was garbage. Now I will
Yeah.
say, like, one of my favorite characters. Um, what's the other sister? Not Sansa. What's the other one? The little,
Um,
the
the one
small.
who became the one of the people of many faces.
Yes,
She had the
the
needle.
needle.
God
Yeah,
damn it.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up, dude. It's escaping me right now.
Arya. Arya
Arya
Stark.
Stark. That's right.
She became like my favorite character. She was so badass.
Yeah,
Like,
I was glad she was, but even her killing the Ice King
yeah,
was lazy. It was lazy.
yeah. It was
It
kind
was
of like
lazy.
it was
You
a
know.
nice surprise, but I was like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
But I
Like
mean,
I
like,
said, knowing now what you do about the two guys who were pushing that show, you know why they did everything they did in that last season because
right.
they were going to do Star Wars stuff.
I will say this: like the reason I loved her, I hated Sansa up until the very end. I can't stand her. I wish she
Yeah,
would have died. I'll say it. I don't care.
whiny,
I wish
complaining
she
all the
sold
time.
out her family. She's the reason. I blame her for everything that happened. Seriously.
Yeah.
But like, I've got a weird like thing for badass women when it comes to like movies and stuff. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Black Widow, so excited for her movie. I'm
Yeah,
so excited for the Black Widow. So when Arya became this super thug with this knife and girl of many faces, I was
yeah,
like, this is fucking awesome. I
yeah.
love this.
My biggest Arya moment was when she killed that old guy who killed her family in the Red Wedding.
Yes.
God, that felt so good, man.
What was
There
his
were
name? Well, it doesn't
the
matter.
Kingfish. The best things were always when people you hated died.
I hated
When
him.
that little prick, the little boy king who just
Oh,
killed people for
Joffrey.
fun, when Joffrey died,
Fuck that guy, man.
that felt so good. It
Yeah.
felt good to watch him die.
Different side of me. I was just like, dude, am I really like getting hyped over this kid choking in front of me and his eyes turning blue and bleeding out his nose? Yeah, pretty much.
I'm good with it. Yep.
And like when
Exactly.
When Walder Frey
Walder Frey.
ate his kids in that pie,
Screw that old bastard.
dude. The red. Now I will say this: the red wedding. That may have been the most like heartbreaking scene for me. Like the only scene I really like hurt for me to watch. I loved.
Yeah.
What was his name? It was Rob Stark, right?
Robb Stark and his
Yeah.
mother. Yep.
I loved Rob. I hated his mother after a while. I loved Rob Stark though.
You know, in the book, she was supposed to come back. She was supposed to help in the end of the story, and they never brought her in either.
How was she supposed to come back in the book?
She was supposed to come back as not a white, but something like a white.
Uh huh.
Not a zombie type thing, but she had her mind about her, and she had powers. And
Right.
she was supposed to assist as far as the book goes. They just never brought her back because they got lazy. Um, he was supposed to discover more in the tombs of his family
Mm-hmm.
when they went beneath him. It just never happened. They just got so lazy and got kept so much out of the story. It was just
It was still a great show, but like you said, at the end, you can tell that they just kind of wrote whatever. It
yeah.
lost its steam, and Daenerys to me, her whole Mad Queen thing at the end was just so so everything else she did was kind of like for nothing. But I
Yeah,
mean, you could
that's
kind of
the
see the
worst part.
trend towards it, but still.
That's the worst part about the ending of that show. Is like, what about the rest of the stuff? All the build up, the things you gave us, it's unnecessary now.
Right.
You didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, it's such
So,
a weird
question.
answer.
Now that I know you have watched this, how much of The Sopranos have you watched?
All of it, dog. I'm rewatching it now.
Watched all of it. Oh, I'm watching it now as well. In my opinion, it's the greatest television show ever. What it did is in the same vein of what Christopher Nolan did with Batman. It humanized people that you should not like.
Oh yeah, it made the bad guy the hero. Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, you look how the storyline with when Tony Soprano caught his daughter making out and that she was dating a black guy, remember?
Oh yeah.
And how much of a piece of shit Tony acted at the time.
Right.
But you didn't hate him for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
get, for some reason, you allowed the humanizing of people who are in the mob to not make you hate them for the shitty things they do.
I think you know this about me already. I love mob shit, mafia, everything. I got every copy of The
Yeah,
Godfather, Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, everything.
yeah.
Before I get into Sopranos and agree with you, did you notice that Dr. Melfi was the girlfriend for Henry Hill in Goodfellas?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I told like I saw in like a little Facebook thing. You know how Facebook has like those little things you can click, things you didn't know
Yeah.
about The Sopranos. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
saw it on that. But I do love the show, and
Uh,
I remember my dad watching it when I was a kid,
yeah.
and that's kind of what always drew me to it as I got older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rewatching it now. It's such a good show. I mean, there's not many that could compare to it. I would put
No,
maybe Breaking Bad next to it. Breaking Bad's a really
I
good
can see
show.
why.
You know.
I don't. The cool thing about Breaking Bad was the ending. Not that it wasn't a great show. I love it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a big fan of when someone who's not a badass delivers a line that makes you believe they are a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And literally at the end of Breaking Bad, when his brother-in-law has found out who he is and he's got him up against the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then Walter goes, "Look, if I am who you think I am, maybe you should tread lightly."
Yeah, Walter White, dude.
You know what I mean? I get tingles from it.
And it's funny because that's like you said, that's at the end of the season, and then
Yeah,
you remember the beginning of the season, like Punk Walter White.
exactly, man.
But even Punk Walter White, when he went up into Tuco's place and took that little crystal, and blew it
Yep.
up in front of his face, that was super. I was like, what?
That was what he had going for him. He was smarter than everyone else in the show. There
Yes,
was no one that was going to outthink him.
there was just a lot of
And that,
downtime for me in that show.
yeah,
Like I love
uh,
the show, but a lot of downtime.
that's always my biggest thing. And sometimes the Sopranos can get that way. But like I
Yeah,
said, even in the Sopranos, somebody will do something that you know that they're shitty, but you want to see more of it. Like I was watching it today, and my wife saw the episode where the guy beats the hooker to death.
oh yeah, yeah, in
Yeah,
the back of the club,
yeah.
Ralphie.
And he just Ralphie. Ralphie's a
Yeah,
disgusting
I
human
hated it.
being.
I hated
But
Ralphie.
it makes you feel good when Tony. It felt like Tony didn't want people to be pushed around who couldn't fight back.
Right,
Tony seemed like the kind of guy who said, "Yeah, I'm a mobster, but we're not going to hurt people just to hurt them."
right.
That wasn't Ralphie. Ralphie would hurt people who couldn't fight back. It's the same reason he pushed around the bouncer guy in the
Mm-hmm,
club because
mm-hmm,
he could, and
right.
it's the same reason he killed the dancer
Mm-hmm.
because he could, and he knew there were no real repercussions. Even though Tony kicked the hell out of him out behind the place, he wasn't going to be able to do nothing about it. Not really.
For me, I took that as Ralphie just being the insecure one out of the whole
Yeah,
out of the whole crew. Ralphie would just seem really insecure to me. Like it
yeah,
always like that's just how it felt to me. And in terms of like Tony, like you said, Tony wanted not wanting people to get pushed around just because they could. That's essentially why the mafia started, was to protect people.
mm-hmm.
You pay me, I'll protect you, yada yada yada. Obviously they do
It still did turn into, hey, we're going to
right.
seek
It
out
turned out to
people
what
who
it was.
we're going to make them need protection,
Right, right. But
And that kind of got pointed out in the like when they had that new Starbucks pop up, remember, or that coffee shop that popped
yeah,
up,
yeah,
and the guy they're trying to tell him you need protection. Like, look, dude, I can't do this, and if they get rid of me, they're going to bring in somebody else that you can't deal with.
hmm
And that was really, in my opinion, that was the director. It was his way of showing that the end was coming for what the mob used to be.
hmm
That the world was changing so much that they didn't have a place in the world anymore.
right.
I
It's
really
like I
felt
didn't
that.
care who it was at this point.
It's like it doesn't matter who you're willing to kill. You can't. Well, you can go this way too. You can't kill corporations. I don't care how tough you are. Fight a
Fair
corporation and
enough.
see what happens.
Fair enough. That's I actually had a conversation about that earlier. I won't get into it right now. But what did you think? I don't remember his name. The fat dude who lost the weight and turned out to be gay.
Vito.
Vito. Oh,
Vito's a great story, dude.
dude, my cat's name is Vito.
Yeah,
But
Vito.
like
That was a great story. It was a
that
really
was
good
that was
story.
odd to me. It was just kind of random to me. I didn't understand it. I didn't
It
understand
was
like why.
random, but like I said, you remember, like I said, Tony was obviously racist to an extent of some kind. It also showed bigotry from another way, and at the time, the open acceptance of gay people in America hadn't come along. So I think that was the director's way of getting in a story and humanizing a gay person. Because you didn't hate Vito. Vito was just
Yeah, no, you couldn't hate Vito.
Vito was just goofy. He was a part of the family just because he could make money. But Vito wasn't the extremely violent type. You know what I mean?
That was
He
Tony's argument. He was like, he's a good earner. Like, we should let him in. Like, what's
exactly.
better if he's gay?
He's like, want to bring him back, but then the rest of the people that you're going to start
like Paulie. Yeah, Paulie wasn't.
No, Paulie wasn't happy. No,
Paulie wasn't.
Paulie's my favorite character. Paulie said some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Dude, Paulie's hilarious.
Paulie's
when you were talking about how you said the director was kind of, shining light to the to the acceptance of gay people with that with that character. That another thing that show did, well, not show what didn't do, it showed. It just shows a different time in terms of, you remember when Tony was making fun of Junior because he found out he liked to give his girl some head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just making fun of him the whole time. And like now, that's like, what? Why would you make fun of a guy for that?
You remember there used to even be rap songs about it. I forget who it was, but it says, "I like pussy, but I ain't licking."
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
There was a rap song, and it was a Cash Money record. Somebody said it.
I don't doubt. Like,
they used to do rap.
This is weird.
That used to permeate. It was like looked down upon for somebody who was considered gangster.
Yeah, why? I don't
do that. I don't know, because I love pleasing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love pleasing. I love back arching. I love that shit. All right? You ain't gonna tell me it ain't okay.
Right. It was just weird though, and like you can just tell, like that show in a lot of ways was so far ahead of its time, but in certain ways you can definitely see where the times were when that show was being made.
Like I said, it seemed like the director wanted to humanize a lot of those people the way you looked at them. Because like remember when Vito went up to that was it Connecticut or Maine he went to when he was running?
When he fell in love with the fireman.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you could just see him maybe living the rest of his life out that way.
Yep, and then he would like kind of snap back.
Yeah, remember you actually wanted that for him.
Yeah, it was nice.
Stay there, live your life out, and don't come back. But he let that stuff bring him back,
Yeah, you could just tell it was like it was definitely an internal battle he was having with himself. Yeah. It was what he wanted versus what he is like perceived to be, what's expected of him.
Also, what was easiest for him, because dude was not about physical labor. If you remember
that episode where he was doing that one thing, he took a nap
he's trying to work on those folks' barn, and like he's like looking at the sun, hoping lunch gets there as fast as possible. That's just a horrible way to live, man. He says, "No, I'm gonna go back to Jersey and run girls or something, I can't do this."
I mean, I don't blame him, dude. Manual labor sucks. I freaking hate it.
I'm certainly hoping it's behind me, I tell you that.
I think it is. And actually, I don't think I ever told you, I'm so proud of you for becoming a manager, dude. You deserve it, dude. You seriously deserve it, brother.
I never at any point thought I would be able to do something like that. I was but I became more brazen a person as I got more responsibility. And I became more confident in myself. So eventually, I just walked up to my regional manager one day. We were having a meeting and says, "Look, dude, I want to be a manager. I can't work the counter the rest of my life. I need more responsibility. I got to build a better foundation for my family." And so the funny thing is, he came to me 2 weeks later and said, "Lee, it's you and me and Steve go in the back and talk." And I said, "All right." So I walked back there. Now, the funny thing is, but at that first meeting I had for him, he goes, "Are you willing to move?" I said, "Yep." I didn't mean it. But I said it. At the very least, I was willing to put myself out there. But we had that second meeting, and they take me to the back, and he sits me down, and he's talking to Steve, and I says, "Lee," he goes, "Lee, what do you want to do with Southern Pike?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "What are your expectations? What do you want to do with Southern Pike?" And I says, "Well, I want to help any way I can." And I got political instead of being honest.
Cutter answers and whatnot.
Exactly. It was about like I just won a game or something, and I was a quarterback. "Oh, well, we're just glad we could, pull it out." And he goes, "No, Lee, what do you want to do?" I paused for just a second, said, "I want to make a bunch of fucking money."
Fair enough.
And dude, and my base answer was how I felt.
That's an
And
honest
he
answer.
looked at me and goes, "That's the answer I wanted. You were just honest with me. And if you're making money, Southern Pipe."
Right. I mean, honestly, the
So,
best way to make money is to keep your people happy.
mm-hmm.
You know,
So
like I
about
said, you deserve it.
about 2 or 2.5 years ago, Steve started. My old manager Steve. He
Right.
started throwing more on me.
Mm-hmm.
First, the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done was talk to people about their bills and money when they were behind and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Calling them up. But I'm good at it now. I call them up if it's a good customer who just hadn't paid attention to his bill.
Like
I
you
say,
know
"Hey
who
man,
to work with.
exactly." I say, "Hey dude, do me a favor. Next couple of days, run by here and drop a check off." He knows what I mean, and I didn't go into, "Hey man, you ain't paying your bill." You
Right.
know what I mean? I,
Right.
I, I understand how to talk to people about it. And the cool thing is, and a lot of people can hear my accent,
Mm-hmm.
and they can make assumptions about just how I talk about it. Because I'm horrified to hear myself talk sometimes. I know how I sound. It is deep country. But there was this the maybe, and it ain't even the money. It was the scariest thing I ever done. We used to have a Southern Pipe. We had a manager over in Covington.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ain't gonna throw names out there. I don't need to expose
Yeah,
anybody.
no,
But
it's not.
he, Alfred is a black fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we had a customer who I did not like, which made eventually my job easier. I couldn't stand it. He was an asshole. Now, he would work us against other branches. Conyers sells it to me at this. Why can't you do it? Well, I don't have the base that Conyers does. I have to make more money in a smaller town. He didn't
Right.
care. He would just beat us and beat us and beat us to get something cheaper. One day he said some things to Alfred over at Covington that if you said today, yeah, the cancel culture would destroy him once it got out. But it was long enough to go to where someone can get away with something like that. It shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm about
A
to say
douchey human
if
being.
it was, sometimes the cancel culture gets it right. If it
It's
was
true.
needs to
It's
get
just a fact.
canceled, yeah.
It's just a fact. But it got out, and my regional manager, one of the best people I've ever met. If he tells you he has your back and he's going to do something, put it in the bank. Ain't got to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
He sent out an email immediately. This person is not welcome in any store in our company. The first phone call anyone takes from him, you are to let him know that in no uncertain terms. Do not come back to any of our stores. And it would happen to be me he called first. Now, I'll be honest with you. I talked to Steve earlier about it. I said, I hope it's me. I hope I get to get rid of this guy. And like I said, new responsibilities keep me a little nervous sometimes. Heck, I was nervous just getting ready for this podcast. Now I'm just, I've
It's
eased
your
into
boy,
just
dog.
talking I'm just talking to a friend. Now I was overdoing it, Like I
Same,
said,
I
I
get it.
didn't, so anyhow, I worked myself up to it, but I still hadn't had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But when he called, I said, hold on a second. I put him on hold. I talked to Steve. He says, look, Steve, it's him. He goes, you've been working on it. Do it. I picked the phone up and I says, look, man, you did something and said something to a family member of our company that no one should say, and Southern Pipe is no longer interested in your business. Don't come back to any of our stores. Take your business somewhere else. And he says, what are you talking about? I says, you know what you said to the guy over at Covington. We're not interested in taking any more of your money. Don't come back. And he hung up on me. I didn't get the chance to hang up on him.
Right.
But when I got off the phone, I was a little shaky. It was that type of thing was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready to do it again.
Right. No, I definitely feel you on that. I mean, I just got licensed a month ago. Tomorrow will be a month I've been licensed, and it's like when I'm making these cold calls to people or like I'm talking to potential clients.
Yep.
It's like at the end of the day, I am a professional, but I don't feel professional because I'm learning. I'm OJT right now. I'm learning on the job training. So it's like, I get that nervousness, and sometimes in my head as I'm speaking, I'm like, did I say that right? Am I giving them proper information? Am I giving them more than I should without being under contract with them? If I'm not, am I giving them enough? It's a lot. But like you said, it's just like the more
you got to find your groove.
Right.
Once you find out how you work and how you're going to do it, how to approach people, being an approachable person makes it easy. Nail, that's you in the damn handbasket.
Right. And it's like you said, I just got to find my groove. I have to get to a point where I know what I know and I'm not second guessing what I do know.
That's right.
Exactly. I'm not there yet.
You're confident in the things you do good.
Right. And it's like, a lot of these things are new to me. Like tomorrow's gonna be my first showing. Thankfully it's friends, but it is my first showing. And technically, unless all right, so to get into the property, I have to get to get into the lockbox and all that. You have to have an account with this thing called Supra. I just set up my Supra account today, and then they're probably not going to call me till Monday. So technically, I wouldn't even be able to do this showing unless the other agent's going to meet me there. And thank God he said he would. So like, if he didn't, I would have had to call my friends and like, hey, yeah, we can't go tomorrow.
So are you gonna have a competitor over there when you're there at the same time?
No, he's the one that's listing the property.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and my friends are gonna be there. My friends are the ones interested in renting it.
Hey.
But I mean, if it is a competitor, they don't want to smoke with me.
Don't want that smoke.
They don't want to smoke with me, man. Look, we're supposed to. I would never talk down on another agent, in Georgia in the business.
Hey, I want everybody to eat. I feel you, man.
Right, I want everybody to eat. But if you take what's on my plate, I'm gonna show you what I learned in jiu-jitsu.
You leave my cornbread alone.
You leave my cornbread alone. Don't you put that knife in my steak. But yeah, brother. So in turn, that's great with the Southern Bite. Do you have any more goals with that? Are you trying to take it anywhere else?
Do I have any more what?
Goals with Southern Pipe in terms
of we need to be doing $1 million a month.
Okay.
Right now, just to give you give that reference. When I first started with Southern Pipe, it was 2006. So I'm about to hit my 15th year. Mm-hmm. This is my 15th. In June will be 15 years officially. Oh, wow. Southern Pipe's going to give me a $750 gift card for it.
Nice.
The first few years is 2006, 2007, 2008. Horrible years to be in the construction business because that's when the recession happened. Yep. And I tell the guys at work, I'm telling you now, appreciate what we're doing because we all get extra money. I don't want to go into what it is. We get extra money. We don't just get a check. Mm-hmm. I have seen $150 days. And it'll keep you on edge, wondering if they're going to shut you down. Southern Pipe's a great company. They kept 80% of the working population when all that was going down. If they shut a store down, they kept you working. Right. They keep people. So that was a great thing to know that they did not want to let you go. They wanted to keep people. They just wanted to shrink a little bit to fight it out. Mm-hmm. But I tell the guys at work, I remember $150 days. And right now, I mean, you've seen what you and Andy drive off with.
Right.
There's $3,000 on that truck.
Mm-hmm. That's some material.
You see, you see what I'm saying? So it gives you a better understanding, makes you appreciate what we do. So, but we average probably $700,000 to $800,000 a month, and that's a good month for 4 people. Mm-hmm. It is. But if I can get us above $1 million a month, I can hire more people. I can expand what we're doing, and I can spend more time managing because a lot of times I call myself kind of a glorified counter guy. Right. I have to wait on people, and now I haven't had to do it as much because during the COVID thing, we haven't let people back in, mainly because nobody will do what I tell them. Hey, don't touch stuff, and then they come in and sit on tables. Like, I need you not to do that. Mm-hmm. But I know we are going to try to open the doors here in a few months. I need people back in the store. I really do. If I need more people to work, though, that way I can deal with people. I can go out and see people on lunch. Because the one thing I'm not used to yet, dude, is business lunches because I haven't got to do it. COVID has really curbed that, Everything in the last year has made that a problem. Uh-huh. So I haven't got to do it. And I'm still dealing with, because I went from counter work to being branch manager, just going out of the store to go to the bank and make a deposit makes me feel weird because just a year ago I was asking Steve if I could leave. You know what I mean? Right. Now I'm on exactly. Now I'm on salary and I can just go when I want to. And so when I first started, I tell Bobby, I say, hey man, so if I get out of the store, and Bobby look at me and go, Lee, you run the place now. Do what you want.
Dude, that's got to be a weird feeling when your friends are telling you.
It's strange, man. It's hard to get past that sometimes, but after 20 years of doing it, it feels good.
Yeah, it's just like you kind of overthink what it is. It's like you've been doing this, but it's just like now things are slightly different. It's kind of like you forget how to function in it.
Yeah.
Have you? Is
So
there another position you can get to above your current position?
there's there are two. There's only really one. Well, there are two. There's one thing I could do. A lot of managers go into doing sales, and the main reason they do it is because of the freedom. Sales guy, as long as he's got a good base and he is selling stuff, he makes his own hours. He's home when he wants to be. And a
Right.
lot of people, that freedom is very intoxicating. I get it. I'd love it too. If I ever got into a good enough base, it wouldn't surprise me if I decided I wanted to be a salesman. I could talk to people. I can move some products. The only other thing for me inside the state is regional manager, but I don't know if I want that position. It takes a special person to do that. The guy that we've got now, his name is Buzz. It's not his real name, but he goes by Buzz enough. It's in my phone that way.
Mm-hmm.
Put it to you like this: the guy before him, you could see the job on him. You know what I mean?
Just
When you can
waiting on him.
see the weight on someone because their position is more than they can handle. And then literally after they relieved him of that position, he became a branch manager in the company and he looked happier immediately. He wasn't happy he lost the job, but you could see life return to it just in being around him. You know what I
All
mean?
that stress taken off of him.
Exactly. The guy that has the job now, well, I'm not going to talk about his personal life. He doesn't have the things that can hamper a person from
Mm-hmm.
putting more into a job. He can do the job 20 hours a day if he wants to because there aren't things pulling him to the side, keeping him from doing it. Where me, my priorities right now are split between being a good manager, and doing things with my son Dooley because he's 10 now. He's doing really good at travel baseball,
Mm-hmm.
going to practice, being gone all weekend. Heck, we're doing a tournament in Charleston this year, the first week of June.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to look it up, I wish I had a picture of it. It's called the Shipyards. Look it up. It's basically an island with 4 baseball fields on it.
Oh, that sounds
So
cool.
almost all of the outfields are surrounded by water.
That sounds like Fight
So
Island.
if you knock it off, if you knock it out of the park, you're dropping your ball in the water. It's really cool.
That's cool as hell,
But
dude.
it's really cool. So, but I'm gonna get to go spend a week with my son at a baseball tournament. It's a 4-day tournament. We'll leave one morning, and I won't be Wednesday morning, and I won't be back till next Tuesday.
Dude, you're making me super jealous for not having a kid right now.
Dude, I'm I'm not gonna tell you the complete story because I don't want to reveal everything. But we weren't supposed to have a boy. We were told girl initially.
Right.
So when I found out I was having a boy, I was like, football practice. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going. So what I was going to get to do changed real fast on me. My wife's, her heart broke. And you should have seen her when she found out 2 weeks later it wasn't what we were told. It broke her poor heart, man. It was horrific to look at her for a couple of days.
It's funny because like right now I'm almost certain I'm gonna have girls. My
You're gonna
mom
end up
is
with
the
girls.
only one in the family that has 2 boys. Everybody else has a
Yeah.
boy and a girl.
That
And
generational thing's gonna flip on you.
right. And then my girlfriend, her mom was told her, look, you guys are gonna have girls. Basically that she's like, I just got a really good feeling you guys are gonna have girls. So
Yeah.
me, basically at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna have boys. Sorry, girls, y'all gonna have to do what I want to do. They're getting into
Hey,
jujitsu with me. That
it's
sucks for them.
exactly.
Sucks for them.
It's not it's not the same world it used to be. You talk about having girls. Start off, I just want to help.
Mm-hmm.
When I talked to God after that, I said, "Give me help. I can work outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me help, because there's you got. I know people that had kids born with problems and all. Suffering for your kids is hard to deal with, man. It really is.
Yeah.
When Dooley was born, he had something called febrile seizures, and what happens is his body hadn't learned to regulate temperature. So if he got sick, he would go from 98 to 103 in a 5-minute span.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and the body just can't deal with that. So it's a seizure. Now it's not an extremely shaky thing. It's
like
basically
really
the body shutting down. It's almost like passing out. His eyes would roll back, and he'd still be fine to the point where our doctor told us we're taking him to the hospital. He'll be fine. He said, but we learned how to fight it and be proactive about it. Mm-hmm. His favorite thing was if he was getting a little warm, his mama would take and put him in a cool bath and give him popsicles. He'd just be double fisting some popsicles, just loving life. He's living good as he can at 2 years old.
He's better than me, dude. To this day, I still can't take a cold bath. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Well, I can in summertime, dude, but I got these crevices.
I can't do it. I don't care how hot it is outside. I would rather go to the gym and get in the sauna
Yeah,
before I take a cold bath. I will not
yeah.
do it.
But the thing about having girls now is it's not the same world it used to be now. I'm a traditionalist kind of guy. If I had to tell you that I don't think you'll ever see a woman play linebacker in the NFL.
Hmm.
That's not me trying to tell a woman what they can and can't do. It's just I don't think women are built to do that. That can be controversial. If she wants to try it, do it. No one should tell someone what they can and can't go after. But like you said, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing, put them out there to be strong. There's nothing wrong with that anymore.
Dude, I've got my ass handed to me left and right. And the most brutal ass whoopings I got at jujitsu was
Yeah,
from this Asian girl who's about
yeah,
185, doesn't look strong, but is as strong as a damn ox, and
hmm,
literally tosses me around. I'm
yeah,
terrified of her. Whenever I went to jujitsu, I would avoid her intentionally. And one day I got the courage to tell her, I don't want to roll with you. I'm walking
yeah.
away.
Hey,
Like,
at
dude,
some point,
terrified.
somebody says, "Okay, you might be bigger than me. Watch this technique."
She was a killer. And the funny thing
Yeah,
is, my girlfriend used to always say she looks like she's really good. And thank God for me, every time I rolled with that girl, my girlfriend was never there.
yeah. I hear you.
Dude, she
You
used to
gotta,
kick
you
my
gotta put your, you gotta. Yeah, I hear you, man. Dooley, when kids start out playing baseball, there seems to be a natural tendency for them to push boys to baseball and push girls to softball. Now they don't have softball at the age of 4
hmm
when it's in the public stuff, so they tend to put the girls and the boys together.
hmm
A lot of people can, well, not a lot of people, but people don't really look at it as much that way anymore. But there's some people who say, well, a girl can't play baseball, and I'm like, why? Fact is, it is if it's not one-on-one type thing where it's a girl facing a guy, and maybe if you think that she can't compete. But if a girl's standing on the mound pitching, that's her saying, I can pitch and I can throw the ball past you. That's different. Don't tell a girl she can't do that. And a lot of people are getting past that, even though softball is probably as popular as it's
Oh,
ever been.
your softball, I'm not big into it, but it is really. I've
I'm gonna
seen
tell you now,
a lot about
softball girls in travel are gangster.
it.
I'm not even lying, man. Those girls are gangster. They are extremely good. It's
Dude,
it is a culture inside travel softball that is heated as hell, dude.
you ever watched a girl play football?
But
Real
outside of
football.
kicking, I've never seen it, dude.
I've seen it. I played against them. Her name, I remember her name to this day. I can never forget her. I hated her after my first year of football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna drop her name, but she played for Brookwood. She was the quarterback, and she was a killer
For Brookwood?
for Brookwood. And I started in fifth grade. I don't think she played. I'm almost certain she didn't play high school football because I don't think
Yeah,
they. I don't know if I don't think they allowed her. I don't know if they still allow that or don't allow that or not. But she
yeah,
played basketball in high school, regardless. Fifth grade, killer, dude. Like everybody knew her as the girl. There's the girl quarterback from Brookwood, and she was
yeah.
a monster. And she had a
I
cannon
hear,
on her, and if the pocket collapsed, she had jets. She would
yeah,
take off.
I hear
Yeah,
you.
she was an assassin, like seriously. And like a part of me wishes she would have been playing now because I would have liked to have seen if she could have made it to a college football team.
Yeah, just
Like
to see it happen if it's
that
possible.
would have been cool, dude. Because like she was really good, you know.
Yeah,
And like,
a lot,
go ahead,
a
go ahead.
lot of that stuff sometimes makes me fight my traditionalism. But at the end of the day, I say, don't tell somebody what they can and can't. If they're good enough, let them out there. Shut your mouth.
My thing is, look, if it doesn't directly affect you, I'm just like,
It's not your exactly.
it is what it is.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, as long as everybody's happy, that's all I really care about.
And
Honestly,
has opportunity. Uh,
yeah.
don't tell somebody what they can't try at least. If they don't make it, they tried, but don't tell them they can't.
Back to the jiu-jitsu thing. I would much rather avoid women in jiu-jitsu. They scare me, dude. I'll be
They,
honest. They scare me.
you have to be, you have to, like I said, I'd imagine that a woman doing that type of thing their technique has to be better than anybody else's.
If I'm not mistaken, and I'm just very well maybe wrong, I'm pretty sure that statistically women do better in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That I'm almost 100% sure that is a fact, and I can totally see why. Because every female I went up against in jiu-jitsu murked me. And me, regardless of me trying to take my strength out of the equation to focus on technique,
Yeah.
when I was going up against a girl in jiu-jitsu, I just had the natural tendency to let's not crush her, let's not, hurt her in any way. That went
Yeah.
out
Then
the
she's in.
window once I realized I couldn't do shit.
Yeah. Then she's in 5 different places at once and whipping your
Right,
ass.
right, right. Like she's on her back looking at me, and I'm just like this. I'm like, can you let me go, please?
Yeah. Let me go, please.
Like, yo, I'll leave you alone. Just let me go home.
Hey, bro. Before we go, because my wife's let me know we gotta
Oh,
do
it's all
something.
good, brother. My girl's
What are
cooking
you?
good right now.
Yeah. What are you carrying nowadays? Still, I think I told you still carrying your 19.
19.
I built me a new 43 over the weekend.
Yeah, I forgot to get back to you. Oh, look.
Look at all the green.
Right. Looks like you
I
tried to build a
love.
replica to the one I got from you. The one I got from you.
Dude, I'm close to it. I got a Ranger proof trigger in it
Mm-hmm.
right there. I sent the light to a guy over the weekend and he painted it for me.
It looks good.
This is my favorite gun, dude. I can't get enough of a Glock 43. I
I
just
miss
love
it.
them.
I miss mine. I miss the one I had from you, dude. I seriously do.
Yeah.
I know who
I
has it,
built.
so I
Oh, who
might get
was
it
it?
back from him. It's all right. So it's a brother to my supervisor when I was at the diesel shop. I don't remember the brother's name, but my supervisor was Mike Olson, and it's his brother.
Yeah.
So if I ever want it back, or if you ever want it back, I know exactly who to get it from.
Well, I'm good now. I found another thing that I jumped into. I'm enjoying
It
it.
looks good. You don't mess with the M&Ps anymore.
Oh, they're not as easy to work on.
Fair enough.
I love shields. Don't get me wrong, but the biggest problem right now, and particularly right now with the time with the politics affecting people and gun rights and everything, this is the worst time there is to try to get into guns. Now, if I hadn't been buying ammunition for the past 3 to 4 years when people were lazy, I'd be worried. But right now, I'm good with my stock.
Right.
I only shoot when I go buy ammunition from the gun shop.
Right.
I built Smith's right now. Smith like shields. Remember that one that Andy bought from me?
Yeah.
Shields are just as expensive right now as Glock 43s. That shouldn't happen. M&P. I remember buying M&P shields at a gun shop up in Gainesville for $289.
They used to be dirt cheap.
They were dirt cheap. Right now, the market's ridiculous, dude. It's being driven by fear so much. People
that happened last year with COVID, and it's just been getting worse and worse.
And it's gonna get, and it's worse now because some people earn what people believe about them. And Joe Biden's been talking about gun control. He was going to do that. This isn't new. The problem is gun people have been lazy for the last 4 years because they had a Republican president.
Right.
And that always happens. It drives prices down, ammunition down. That's why I was able to buy it. I bought it dirt cheap. So I didn't get lazy and I kept buying stuff. The only problem is now is, like I said, when I go to the range, I only shoot what I can afford to buy. I don't touch what I've got put up.
Right. I haven't been for that very reason because I'm not about to shoot any of my stockpile.
I've got 3 guns I need to shoot right now though. My new Glock, I haven't got to shoot it yet. I got a Springfield Hellcat that I traded off for somebody, which is really good gun. Really good gun. It's smaller than the 43 and it's got 11 rounds.
Wow.
And then I built a polymer 80 gun. Now, I don't know if I've got to show you that yet. So the next time you're in, let me show it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about them online because there's already enough eyes on the companies currently getting sued.
Right.
But look up polymer 80s and why they're popular.
Okay. I'm going to look up the Hellcat too because I never seen that either.
Dude, I'm learning to use red dots.
Look at
red
you.
Red dots are new. Yeah, red dots are really cool on pistols, and I can carry it that way. But the polymer 80 is the funnest thing I've ever done because a polymer 80, you have to finish the pistol. They send you the frame. You have to cut parts out of it, and that finishes the final 20% of the gun. That's what's called polymer 80. They send you 80% of the gun. You finish the final 20.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to look into that.
They're fun, but right now is the worst time to attempt it. The one I have at work, listen to me, at work, it's got red dot, it's got a light, it's got a serrated slide. I mean, I worked my butt off on this one. and I've probably got about $700 in it.
When you can, send me
Now,
a picture of it.
okay, I'll shoot you something. The funny thing is, a guy at work saw it and he was asking me about it. Why do you need that, Lee? And when you see why people are buying them, you'll understand why. Because he thinks you don't need a gun that doesn't have that on it. And I was like, why not? I'm a free person who hasn't done anything wrong. Why should I be told I can't do something? If I'm not hurting other people or taking rights from those people, why shouldn't I be able to do something? And he didn't like the argument because he's a FUD. If you know what a FUD is. If you know what a FUD is, that's just a gun guy with granddaddy's old shotgun, just like old Elmer's looking for rabbits. But anyhow, the funny thing is, he saw my gun with a red dot on it 2 weeks ago. He goes, Lee, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I said, hold on a second. We were just talking about this.
You work with this guy?
I know, but yeah, he's a salesman for us. You've probably never seen our salesman. Blonde guy comes in every now and then.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I doubt I have. Yeah.
But no, you haven't met him, so you don't know him. But he came in and saw it and said, I want one. I said, hold on a second. Are you sure? He said, yeah, I want one. He said, start looking for parts. I said, no problem. I love converting people.
Right.
And then the next day he comes in and says, Lee, my brother and my dad want to do one too. I said, now I'm going to let you know. You picked the worst time. I'm talking 3 weeks ago he decided this. Mm-hmm. There's no ammo out there. Well, their ammo's there, but 9mm is $30 a box.
Yeah, super expensive.
It's crazy. So I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, let's do it. Handed me his credit card, told me to write all the information down. Within 2 days, I had dropped $3,200 on his card. Ordering lowers, parts kits, slides, barrels.
Insane.
Like I said, right now, he's got about $1,100 in each gun. I got mine completed for $700 because I did it a year ago.
Right.
Things weren't as bad last summer. Things weren't as bad as they are now. But he wanted one so bad he didn't mind just handing me his credit card.
I'm gonna look it up, but I want you to send me pictures because I want to see that.
I'll send you pictures of it, dude.
I haven't
built really cool
gun yet, but I'm working on it. Me and Dusty are gonna build me a rifle. That's the plan.
I got you, dude. You know the funny thing is, I'm probably about to go AK.
Are you,
dude?
Why?
I went into Academy Sports today. They were loaded with 7.62 by 3.9. There's no AR ammo out there. But 7.62 3.9 is everywhere for an AK.
That means my stepfather is smooth sailing. He's got a 74.
Oh.
Yeah, he loves that thing.
It's AK-74. So that's the one that's got the 5.56 or it's not 7.62 by 3.9. I don't think.
I think his is, or at least his.
Okay.
I don't know the regular. His is the only one I've ever seen or shot.
I got you.
So I'm not 100% sure.
But anywho, Bob.
Well, all right, brother. I appreciate it. I thank you for coming out.
I appreciate it too. Thank you, man.
Definitely gonna do it again. But enjoy the rest of your night, man.
All right, Bob. Thank you.
All right, yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.